Good morning, all. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Today is a really extra special edition of our Alumni Association virtual engagement series. This is a monthly video series that we do where we sit with an alum and we talk about their Manor College experience, why they came to the college, what life was like for them as a student, and then how Manor prepared them for the future. Today is actually our Manor Strong Day of Giving. So we are celebrating, and we invited Manor's first ever All-American athlete, Mark Colville, to talk to us. He's from the class of 2014. Mark grew up in the Fishtown neighborhood of Philadelphia. He came to Manor to study liberal arts, was a standout soccer player under the infamous John J.D. Dempster as his coach. And at the time, Mark was our only college athlete to ever be named to the NJCAA All-American team from any sport. Since then, we've had one other All-American. We had one this past year from our basketball team. And today, Mark is the Director of Sales and Marketing at the Cambria Hotel, a new position that he's actually starting later this week. So really exciting things happening in Mark's life, and we're excited to talk to him. Welcome, Mark. It's great to see you.
Good morning, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's really fun to hear kind of all the exciting things happening in your life right now. Can you start us off by telling us, why did you choose Manor? How did you hear about the college, and kind of what was your first impressions?
So I heard about Manor. I actually had a good friend who I grew up with, played some local sports, recreational sports when I was a kid in my teenage years, named Mike McDevitt. Mike actually worked in the admissions office at Manor. So Mike was kind of the first person who kind of mentioned it to me. I kind of had a choice whether if I was going to go back to kind of get that intro to school. I was kind of out. I was at community for 2 years. And then I kind of was just doing part-time working in that. So it was a chance to kind of get back into the school full time. And I don't think I was ready just to jump on into maybe a 4-year school right away. When I was at Manor, obviously it was a 2-year school. So for me, it was kind of just getting into a school and getting back into the routine of being a full-time student and kind of giving up work and going to school full time. So for me, it was kind of a big jump. And I thought Manor, when I heard about it, Mike told me about a few things, and I just thought it was a great fit. And I was lucky enough to kind of get in there, take a tour, and meet a few people, and it felt right.
That's great. I certainly remember Mike McDevitt. He was an admissions counselor.
Yeah.
I remember him, and that's great to hear that so many students we hear learn about Manor through a friend, a family member, word of mouth. That's really common. So I'm really grateful Mike shared. We always want to say that, Manor is one of the best kept secrets, but we don't want it to be a secret. We want people to share. So I'm really glad that he did that. And a lot of students also have that same kind of story where maybe they were doing some college, they were maybe working, and then they had to get back into school full time or make that change. And Manor was kind of that good transition for them.
For sure.
So Mark, tell us about, your experience. Tell us about how was it studying in your classes and your schoolwork, and then also managing being a student athlete, and what was that like?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Manor is great in regards of academics. I mean, the teachers there are, for me anyway, from my experience, were just there full time. Like if you need it, I know classes were an hour and a half and then 50 minutes. But I mean, I was able to speak to a teacher after for a half hour if I needed help. They were always available, always responsive. It was just a really tight knit community. It's not a massive school. So you see a lot of the same faces. The teachers see you, they know you, some know you by name. So it's really, in that regards, it's just kind of like a real family oriented kind of type of place where you just kind of feel you fit in. And like I said, you see the same faces, the same students almost every day. It's like I said, it's not a massive school. So for me, that was one of the big things when I first got there, was seeing like that it's not big, and that the people I'm going to see, I'm going to basically be seeing every day. Whereas at other schools, it was sometimes you didn't see all the students and you really didn't see all the staff. At Manor, I think the unique thing was you really got to see every single person almost every day, especially with the staffing size and the student size. It was just a unique experience. Like I wouldn't put it to anything. And for me, it was kind of the start. Juggling soccer and school was a big it's a big challenge. It's definitely something you take on, and you have to be committed. You practice every day after school, so there has to be time after practice or before it, in between classes, to kind of get your studies in, and kind of, if anything needs to get done for that day, kind of make it happen. You go on also you take some trips where you're going away to soccer games. You have all that bus time to kind of catch up on some work, do some studying. So it's just about pretty much prioritizing your time and making sure any downtime that you do have outside of school, being in class and being on the soccer field, you just kind of take advantage of. And that's the best way you can do it, because you will fall behind if you're not doing those things.
Yeah, student athletes always talk about the prioritization and how, you know, you have to really know time management and focus because your time is limited. You have so many things you have to do. Now, Mark, did you also work while being a student at Manor?
No, I did not. I gave that up. When I was at community, I only did part-time. I was only doing about 2-3 classes a semester. And then I was able to work full-time. So I was basically going to work, getting done around. I'd have maybe a morning one, I'd go in late, and then I'd maybe go to work and then come back at night classes from like 6 to like 8. So I kind of did that. And like I said, Manor was that kind of fallback position where I had to make a choice. I was 2 years out of high school, 2.5 almost. And I had to make that choice whether I was going to be full-time or kind of just go with the work life. And I kind of made that choice to come to Manor.
Sure, definitely. So tell us, what was it like being on the soccer team? What was it like being under the leadership and coach of John Dempster? I know these few years where I can remember you being on the team specifically, the team was pretty strong for those few years. So tell us kind of what was that like and what were some of the highlights for that?
For sure. I mean, I came in at a great time. John did a lot of recruiting. And I was kind of late to that process as well. So a lot of things were put together prior to me being there. So we had a really strong class coming in when it definitely wasn't just me. Our team was really, really good. There was a lot of standout stars. It just happens to be usually one gets picked out. But there was plenty. I think we were about, if I had to guess, don't quote me on this, but I think our overall record for the 2 years I were there, I think we only lost 2 games. So we were about 37-2. We did fall a little bit short on both seasons, kind of in the semis going to the championship. So there'll always be that, which we fall back on. And John was great. John was literally the reason why when I came in for that first day being at Manor, I got to meet John and see what he was all about and the type of guy he was. And again, he's a father figure to a lot of those kids. I mean, he takes it pride, he takes their friendship. It's not just a coach. He dives in deep and he makes sure that you're taken care of, your schoolwork's done. John's been at the school for a very long time. He knows exactly how it works. And exactly what needs to get done to make sure you're doing your thing. So for me, it was a really great experience. If any extra activities at Manor, I mean, you should absolutely do. I mean, like I said, sports was just one of many there. So, and it's only grown since I've gone. So that's really cool to see. That fact that it's become a 4-year school is amazing. I kind of look back and I wish I would have had that chance because I would 1,000% wouldn't have left. That's for sure. I told John that before, and I do mean it. I definitely meant it. I wouldn't have left. It was the right fit for me, and it would have worked well. So
yeah, I think that year, if I remember correctly, there was like 17 or 18 wins that you guys had in a row in your record, and that was incredible. Really, really cool, and just that was a really fun year to like follow the team, particularly. In 2018, we became a 4-year institution where we were able to now offer bachelor degrees, and that's been really great. So we've had a few soccer players, for example, who've stayed for all 4 years. Players like Sean Wood comes to mind. And that's really neat that we're seeing, from freshman to senior year.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, once you get there, it keeps you kind of, you get comfortable. People get comfortable with things, and Manor was one of those places where sometimes it is just the right fit. And I feel like it can be the right fit for a lot of people. So it's just about, like you said, getting it out there, knowing about the school and making sure that people are aware and people do get to feel that community type, family type oriented college, because it's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's great. So let's talk a little bit about, how do you feel that Manor prepared you? And now that you've been out for a few years, and they say hindsight's 20/20, and then when we look back, we start realizing, wow, like this actually did teach me this. Or what are some things that you can say that you, now looking back, have really been, you either learned from your experience at Manor, or it really prepared you for whether it was transferring to another school, a career, a job, an internship? What are some like life lessons that you feel that you've gained from the institution?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the teachers were great. They really like instilled that like what you get in is what you put out. And it's really that simple. Like you can't, if you're just going to go there and kind of lazy days around and just be around the place and not really take in any type of extra kind of stuff, being in the the library and just seeing this, like asking the teachers for any type of advice, I mean, was huge. They were, like I said, always available, email, face to face. They had office hours where you could go and meet the teachers. So for me, it prepared me by much. And basically every teacher reiterated the same thing, that you're there for school. That's the main focus. You're there to, maybe, again, when I was there, you were to move on to another school to go get your bachelor's degree. And they kind of just made it known that, hey, look, take care of business here. And that's going to lead you into your next 2 years of school if that's what you choose to do. So, I mean, for me, it kind of prepared me to say, hey, look, it's time now to kind of dig deep and get going and make sure that you're on top of your stuff, staying, not just soccer. I mean, soccer was one reason why I was there, but school was the main reason why I came back, and the teachers just, again, held you accountable. Because when you're in the classroom, it's maybe, I think my largest class might have been, when I was there, might have been 30 people. So it's very small. Like I said, there's always time for the teachers that sit after, they have office hours. So I would say it prepared me literally the best I thought possible that I could get from any type of advice out there. So, and staff alone, yourself included, everyone kind of, like I said, you've seen everyone. So if you were approachable, you talked, you kind of got to know a lot of the teachers, a lot of the staff, and everyone was kind of on your side and wanted you to succeed and graduate. So that was a big push. No one was kind of down. Everyone was kind of there to support you, and you really can't thank that enough to kind of make that happen.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's a great description of our culture. You know, our tagline is "You belong here," and we really talk about that a lot, as that's what we want people to feel, like they belong here, whether they're a student, a faculty, a staff, an alum, a neighbor, whoever it is. We want you to feel like you belong here. And a lot of those things that you're talking about, being available, being friendly, being approachable, that ties into that. So
it
that's
went with
really
ease.
great to hear.
It went with ease. I mean, like I said, they were always available for you, and always kind of made that known.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. So tell us about, what has life been for you like since graduating? What kind of jobs have you had, and kind of what's your career goals?
For sure. So I actually, about 5 years ago, I got into the hospitality industry from a good friend who was a general manager at a hotel. I always kind of had the interest to kind of get into that, being hospital, like just kind of making sure that people were taken care of, and making sure that kind of people were happy and things got done. So I kind of got into that role. I met with a good friend of mine, and he gave me the opportunity about 5 years ago to get in hospitality, and it's been life-changing. Truly has. I kind of took it with everything I had in me, and kind of learned. In my first 2 years, I literally learned everything I possibly could. I had a great director who I worked with for 5 years, who kind of helped me along that process. Things that would take 5 minutes for him to do, he would then do it with me, and it would take him a half hour. So he really invested the time into me, and it really paid off moving forward. I kind of went from, I worked down by the airport at a Clarion hotel where I started, was only there for about 10 weeks, and had a chance to move downtown to a hotel called the Embassy Suites. So I did business travel, and business travel is just your corporate clients who are traveling Monday to Thursday, 3 weeks out of the month. And you're kind of just getting them to try to stay at your hotel in that regard. So it's just kind of just another sales position. From that, the pandemic, that's when the pandemic kind of hit, and things took a little bit turn. I was laid off for about 6 months. I did have a chance to come back with my director at the Cambria Hotel downtown, again, on Broad Street. And he basically gave me a chance. It was just me and him in the sales office. I was used to working with 4 to 5 people, and it was just him and myself. So I kind of had that chance. And then from there, I kind of went into like a senior sales manager position, just because we didn't have enough people. So I was kind of doing everything. You just learned on the job. And again, it was a learning experience, and I knew that going in. And then I had a chance to go back to the Clarion Hotel where I first started, to be the director of sales, which is a big jump for me. And then again, another opportunity approached just from the hard work. And here I am today, and I start tomorrow at the Cambria as the director of sales back downtown. So another big jump for me, and definitely something that's I'm definitely excited about.
Wow. But I mean, that's an incredible, I think, story and path. And it shows that, obviously, like, who you know really is important. And that's something that we're always trying to tell students, like, it's really who you know. And then also like that you've proven that you are like dedicated, you are a hard worker, you can do all these things. And those things get promotions.
Yeah, it paid off. Like, it really has.
Really
quick
great.
ride.
Yeah. That's a quick trajectory. It's only been Was it all happened in about 5 years?
About 3.5, truthfully. The
Oh my
first year,
goodness.
it was pretty quick. Like I said, the pandemic opened up. Like I said, it was tough for a lot of people. It was definitely not tough for me. It actually gave me an opportunity. So it's seeing some with some bad, also was some good. It's just kind of seeing that, and it kind of, a lot of the hospitality industry was kind of lacking staffing, and a lot of opportunity opened up. So they kind of went to the people who were there, who were passionate, and gave them a chance to kind of earn it. And I like I said, I worked incredibly hard to kind of get where I am. So I'm glad it paid off. And like I said, the opportunity approached, and I was there.
That's great. Well, congratulations and good luck this week with your start. So Mark, kind of as we wrap up here, what advice would you give a current student who is maybe feeling like, man, semester just ended, and college life's hard, and maybe feeling a little bit down? What kind of advice would you give them to encourage them to keep going?
It's just valuable, your time there. I mean, truthfully, it goes by so fast. It's unbelievable how quick it goes. When you said 2014 graduate, it's a little tough to hear. It goes by so fast. I mean, it might seem like tough then, but there's tough times, and there's going to be times where tests are tough. There's going to be times where school's tough. And again, it's just kind of getting through it, will through it. It's for the better. And again, you're there to better your life, and you kind of gotta know that the time is now, and you have to get it done, and what you put in is what you're going to get out of it. So you can't, everyone gets down on themselves. It does happen. Like I said, I was at that school. Like I said, everything sounds great. Everything sounds quick and it's going up, but I was in those positions. I felt that way. School, soccer, just having that responsibility on you is a lot. It's definitely a lot to ask of, but it is where you kind of get and you grow, and you kind of have to make it work. So I would just tell them to kind of keep their head up, and look, there is help. There's help there. I mean, I was one to take advantage of it, and it literally helped me throughout every part of my life moving forward. If you need help, get it. There's help there. There's people there, and there's people willing to help you, which is, not everyone has that opportunity. So I would say take advantage of it, and time does fly, and it will be over before you know
it. Yes, that is very true. And I think when you say take advantage of the help, that that is something that a lot of our students do, and a lot of them don't. We have tutoring, we have counseling, we have food pantries, and all sorts of resources that we want to wrap around our students and just support them holistically. So that is no shame in taking any of that. Please.
I did it every single day. If I had the chance that I needed a tutor, and I went and asked for help. I had John kind of set it up for me. I was tutored in almost probably every subject there. So there is no shame in it. And you are, like I said, you're doing it for the better and for yourself. So just get the help.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's great. And I think that's something that maybe not a lot of people talk about all the time. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. Well, Mark, thank you so much for joining us today. This was really fun to kind of catch up with you and to hear how successful you are being. And you're, I would call you a young alumni. You're not that far out, but it's just so great to hear that you're doing well, and you've had a few tough years here with the pandemic, and that you have found a way to overcome and thrive throughout it. So just major kudos to you, and thank you for being such a great representation of what a Manor student and a Manor graduate can be and is. So I really just appreciate you joining us today.
No problem, Kelly. I appreciate all your time and efforts as well. Thank you.
No problem. Have a good one now, and good luck this week.
You too. Thanks, Kel.